Systems of linear inequalities, summary. Okay, so the directions say graph the situation and determine whether the given point is part of the solution set. Okay, so for the video, we're going to do all these in the calculator because we've given you a practice doing it the other way. The good thing about putting it in the calculator is you can type it in as it is. You don't have to solve for y or anything like that. So you go to, let's say we start here. I want to go to the graph screen. Actually, let me just delete everything out in case there's, just start as you would see it for the first time. So I go to the graph screen, but the graph screen is in function notation f of x equals, but this is not in y equals. So what do? I can delete the equal sign, hitting the delete button, and it gives me an option, some menu options here. So I want to go to the relation option. Now I can type in anything I want, including 2x minus y. So I'm going to type in 2x minus y. Now when I get to here, you get to your menu of inequality options by hitting Control equal sign. Okay, and you can see those little symbols right above the equal sign in yellow to remind you. So I want less than, so I go over here to the right, less than a -1. There you go. You put it in enter. There is your graph. Now, how would you shade this here by looking at the calculator screen? Well, if you turn on your grid lines, that's menu, and some menus are a little bit different, but you look for view, and you look for grid, and you look for lined grid, and there you go. So what you could do is you could line up and find exactly where it's going through which boxes, basically. So there it goes up 1, and there it is. And then up 2 over 1, there it hits another place on the grid perfectly. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So there's your line, your shadings above. Okay, so would this point 0, -1 be in the solution? Is it in the shaded area? 0 says we do not move left or right at all, and -1 says we move down 1. So it's right here. That is not in the shaded area, so that is a no. And if you look here, I've already done the shading by hand right here. This is basically the same thing as what you see on the calculator screen. All right, notice it is a dotted line, and it's hard to see the dashes here on the calculator screen, but you can get that from looking right here at the inequality symbol. No line underneath means it's a dotted line, not a solid line. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and do number 3. And I want to show you a shortcut here as we're doing these. Let me fold this over. You can push Dock B, and you can, delete everything out. But, I already have my grid turned on. I kind of have it set up how I want. Maybe I don't want to do Dock B and go through all that. So here's another way. You can go and hover over your inequality and get the little grippy hand, and you could actually move the inequality if it's in your way at any point in time. Well, actually, I was going to this. If you double click on it, you can get the inequality in that relation screen again. And I'm just going to delete it out. And I'm going to type instead x minus 2y, x minus 2y less than or equal -8. It goes right to the next one. I don't have to go back and turn on my grid lines and all that. It's just really convenient. So when you look at this one, it looks like we've gone up 4 to put my first point, and then up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. The point 0, 4 would land right on this line right here. Since it is a solid line, that does count as part of the solution. So that's okay. So I graphed it by hand ahead of time, just to show you. There's the comparison, and I put yes, it is part of the solution. All right, let's go ahead and do number 5. Number 5 is a little different. There's no y in here, there's just x. We're going to do the same thing though. We're going to go to our inequality on the screen. I'm going to double click. I get that relation menu again, or that screen again. I'm going to delete everything out. I'm going to change it to 2x. Control equal to put in greater than or equal to 8. Push enter. Now we have an interesting graph. Whenever you have x equals something, that gives us a vertical line. Well, when you have x is greater or less than something, it gives us a vertical line. The shading, since it's greater than, the shading is to the right, because these are all the numbers that are bigger than. Okay? So they are asking, is the point 4, 0, is that in the solution? 4, 0 is right here. It's right on the line. So that all comes down to, is it a solid line or a dotted line? According to that line underneath your inequality, it is a solid line. So that is a yes as well. And there is my graph. I'll put them side by side so you can see the calculator and the one I did. Okay? And now number 7. Number 7, we have a system of inequalities. We're putting both of these equations in. I'm still going to approach it the same way. I'm going to go over here to my inequality. I said equations, but I meant inequalities a second ago. I'm going to put in negative 2x plus y. Okay, so negative 2x plus y. Get rid of that extra one. Less than negative 3. Now I'm going to push enter. It's going to change my graph. Okay, but I'm not done. I got to put in another one. So I push tab, and now I can put in a second inequality. 2x plus y. We have greater than, there it is, 2, enter. There's my second one. Now when you're dealing with a system of inequalities, what we've been learning is you're looking for the double shaded area. On this calculator screen, it's the purple area. We have the pink, we have the blue, and here's the purple. All right. So they're asking, is the point negative 6, 0 in the double shaded area? Not even close. Negative 6, 0 is 6 to the left, and right there, it's just sitting there. That's not even close to this double shaded area, so that would be a no. Here is my graph that I did by hand, so you can see it. Now I used a yellow highlighter and a blue highlighter. I really did. I didn't use 3 markers. I used yellow and blue, and when I did them over each other, it turned into green. So that was kind of handy. You don't have to do that. Just show that there's a double shaded area using your pencil if you want. Okay. Now we're going to go to the back. We have number 9. Number 9 is actually the same thing. What's a little easier about it is you don't have to do any graphing. You're just going to graph it right in your calculator, and you're going to tell us, is that point in the shaded area? It's not a system. There's only one inequality, so it's not a system. So I have these 2 inequalities in here, but I only want one. So I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to delete everything out, and when I push enter, it goes away. Now I'll double click on the other one, delete everything out, but I won't push enter this time. I'm going to type in my new one, 6x minus 2y, 6x minus 2y, greater than, so I'll control equal, find my greater than symbol, 12. It changed it to this one, so that's my new one. Okay, is 2, 4 in that shaded area? 2 to the right, and 4 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is not in the shaded area, so that would be no. Okay, let's do number 11 the same way. I'm going to go ahead and delete my inequality and write over it. So I double click, delete all this stuff out. Y plus 10 less than 4, and then it gets interesting, but the calculator is going to take care of this stuff for me. Parenthesis x minus 2, and then close parenthesis. Push enter. There it is. 6 comma 3, is that in the inequality? That is 2, 4, 6 to the right, 1, 2, 3 up. It is in the inequality. It's right there in the shaded area. Now, if it was a little higher and landed right on the line, for this particular one, it would be a no, because there's no line underneath. That is a dotted line. But it did not land right on the line. It landed definitely in the shaded area, so that is a yes. Now, I usually just do the odds, but I want to try to get through all the word problems. What I'm going to do the odd ones. I'm going to get through all the odds. I have just like 3 more on this paper, and if I have time before I hit 15 minutes, I'll do some of the evens as well. So let's zoom out. Let's do the odds first. I'll try to come back to do the evens, because in class we did all of these word problems together. Okay, 13. Wonderful Walt looks at 2 different jobs. He makes $8 an hour at job X, $9 an hour at job Y. He wants to earn at least $240 working this week. Write an inequality to represent the situation. Well, what we learned in class is if you have a total of something, you might have a certain pattern in your word problem. And even though this is an inequality, not an equation, we still look for those totals. So let's look at our strategy. First strategy is there a total of something? It might be standard form. If there's not a total, is there per each or every? It might be slope-intercept form. If it doesn't fit that pattern, then you're just going to have to look at the vocabulary in the problem and deal with it and just take it one step at a time, okay? So we are dealing with a total. The total is he wants to earn $240, at least that much. So his total's not that exact number. It could be even more than that, but it's still a total of money he wants to earn. So that is my C value on my standard form. And they tell us job X and job Y. Okay, so we have X plus Y, and we have to figure out the inequality. Our $8 goes with X. Our $9 goes with Y. At least is deceptive because it sounds like less than, but it means the opposite. Okay? He wants to make $240 at the very, very minimum, but he would be more than happy if he made more than that amount, right? So at least actually means greater than or equal. Okay? And that's all we have to do on that one. Let's take a look at 15. Silly Sam spends at least, here's another at least, so we're thinking it might be a greater than or equal, 12 hours a week playing video games and watching television. This 12 is a total. It's a total amount of time spent in the week. So again, we're looking at standard form. What are the 2 things he's doing? He's playing video games and he's watching television. Secondly, it says he plays video games more than 4 times the amount of time he watches television. Write a system of inequalities. So this one's going to have 2 inequalities. Okay? The first one is my first sentence. The second one is my second sentence. Okay. 12 is my total. Let's say that we're going to have G represent the time playing games and T be the time that he's watching television. Okay? The total's easy. G plus T, but we don't say equals 12. It's at least 12 hours. So again, that's a greater than or equal to 12 hours. Okay, the second equation is carefully hidden in the second sentence. There's no pattern, we have to look at the vocabulary. He plays video games, that's our G, more than, with equations, more than means adding, but with the inequalities, more than means greater than. More than 4 times the amount of time he watches television. So more than 4T. There it is, okay? It seemed kind of hard, but that's it. All I'm going to have time for is all the odds. Number 17, how do you know a coordinate point is a solution to a system of equations? It must be in the double shaded region for it to be a solution. Okay? We're at the 15-minute mark, so sorry I didn't get to these others. If you want help in class, I'll be glad to help you. or I may just post the PDF with those answers.